Νομίζω είμαστε λίγο πολύ έτοιμοι να ξεκινήσουμε. Θα αρχίσουμε με κάποιους χαιρετισμούς στην αρχή και με την So, everybody, we are ready to start the day. We will start with some greetings from Greek officials, but they will be in Greek, I think. So, hold on. The first greeting will be by our president from Blossoming Stones.
Good evening to everybody, dear distinguished guests, dear colleagues from University of Valley, dear professors, emeritus, dear professors, dear students, dear friends. Thank you for being here in a special initiative of Blossoming Stones that is under the auspice of Ministry of Civilization and the region of Peloponnese, as well as the municipality of Gortynia. We are very glad to have with us the mayor of the municipality, Minister Stathis Koulis, who will greetings all of us. The speakers that will follow greetings are distinguished in their scientific field. We have the chance to learn about their specific scientific interests. So we are happy to be here. We have our guests for 2 days actually. They have an experience from the field, not only the theoretical basis of our work, and I think this is very important. I am very glad that I've seen Gidas University students to participate with pleasure and so happy to deal with stone actually, and I think this is quite hopeful. Of course, in parallel with their Greek peers, who have shown a dedication actually, at least from my point of view, that we don't need on a daily basis actually. It's an exception and not the rule. So all of us, all the board of Blossoming Stone, the scientific committee, the scientific council as well, are very happy for all this event. I will read some greetings for officials. They are written in Greek, so I will read in Greek, and then I'll call the mayor of municipality of Gortynia for his greeting. I also, in our Congress, at this inaugural session, the General Director of Region of Peloponnese, Mrs. Zavella, is present, and thank you for being here, Mrs. Zavella. The Director of the Department of Modern Cultural Heritage of the Ministry of Culture, Mrs. ΕΛΕΝΗ ΜΠΑΖΙΝΗ, is also here. She's a speaker as well. Thank you for being here as well. And let me, before the mayor, just to let start with the mayor first, and then I will read the greetings from the other officials. Please, dear mayor, you have the floor.
αξιότιμοι εκπρόσωποι της πολιτείας, αξιότιμοι καθηγητές, επιστήμονες και σύμμετροι από την Ελλάδα και το εξωτερικό, κυρίες και κύριοι, με ιδιαίτερη τιμή σας απευθύνω χαιρετισμό στην κεντρική ημερίδα του Διεθνούς Συνεδρίου με θέμα την τεχνική εκπαίδευση και την επαγγελματική κατάρτιση στην Τέχνη της Πέτρας, καθώς και την διεθνή προβολή της ως εξέχοντος στοιχείου της Άυλης Πολιτιστικής Κληρονομιάς της πατρίδας μας. Στα Λαγκάδια, η πέτρα δεν είναι απλώς δομικό υλικό. Είναι τρόπος σκέψης. Είναι μέτρο ακρίβειας, είναι σχολείο πειθαρχίας και συνεργασίας. Το γνωρίζω όχι μόνο ως Δήμαρχος Γορτινίας, αλλά ως Λαγκαδινός. Μεγάλωσα σε έναν τόπο όπου η τέχνη της πέτρας δεν διδασκόταν σε αίθουσες. Μεταδιδόταν στις αυλές, στα γιαπιά, στην σιωπηλή παρατήρηση των μαστόρων που μιλούσαν λίγο και δημιουργούσαν πολλά. Η σημερινή μας συνάντηση έχει ιδιαίτερο βάρος. Δεν εγκαινιάζουμε απλώς ένα συνέδριο. Επιβεβαιώνουμε ότι η γνώση που γεννήθηκε από τα χέρια μπορεί και πρέπει να συναντήσει τη γνώση που παράγεται στα πανεπιστήμια και στα ερευνητικά ιδρύματα. Γι' αυτό και σήμερα, με ιδιαίτερη συγκίνηση, θέλω να συγχαρώ ολόψυχα την Οργανωτική Επιτροπή του Διεθνούς Συνεδρίου, το Σωματείο ΑΝΘΗ ΤΗΣ ΠΕΤΡΑΣ, τον επιστημονικό υπεύθυνο ομότιμο καθηγητή κ. Βασίλη Κανιάτσα, τον συντονιστή κ. Μιχάλη Στούμα και τον πρόεδρο του Διοικητικού Συμβουλίου, καθηγητή κ. Γιάννη Τσαούση, καθώς και όλους όσοι εργάστηκαν αθόρυβα για να γίνει αυτή η μεγάλη διοργάνωση πραγματικότητα. Με επιμονή και σχέδιο μετατρέπεται μια τοπική παράδοση σε πεδίο διεθνούς διαλόγου. Η ίδρυση και η λειτουργία επαγγελματικών σχολών μαθητείας στα Λαγκάδια και στον πεντάλογο Βοήου δεν είναι μια συμβολική πράξη. Είναι αναπτυξιακή επιλογή με σαφές κοινωνικό αποτύπωμα. Σε μια εποχή που η περιφέρεια δοκιμάζεται δημογραφικά και οικονομικά, η τεχνική εκπαίδευση υψηλού επίπεδου μπορεί να λειτουργήσει ως μοχλός αναστροφής της πορείας. Δημιουργεί επαγγελματική προοπτική, συγκρατεί νέους ανθρώπους, ενισχύει την οικονομία και συνδέει την παραγωγή με την πολιτιστική ταυτότητα. Ταυτόχρονα διασώζει και συστηματοποιεί μία γνώση που μέχρι σήμερα επιβίωνε κυρίως μέσα από την προφορική παράδοση και την μαθητεία δίπλα στον μάστορα. Η μετάβαση από το άτυπο στο οργανωμένο πλαίσιο εκπαίδευσης διασφαλίζει ποιότητα, πιστοποίηση και διεθνή αναγνώριση. Η τέχνη της πέτρας αποτελεί εξέχον στοιχείο της Άυλης Πολιτιστικής μας Κληρονομιάς. Όμως η αξία της δεν εξαντλείται στην μνήμη. Έχει σύγχρονη χρησιμότητα στην αποκατάσταση μνημείων, στη βιώσιμη δόμηση, στην αισθητική και λειτουργική αναβάθμιση των οικισμών μας. Ως Δήμος Γορτινίας δεν αντιμετωπίζουμε τη σχολή μαθητείας ως ένα ακόμα έργο. Τη θεωρούμε θεσμό στρατηγικής σημασίας. Δεσμευόμαστε να στηρίξουμε τη λειτουργία της με συνέπεια, ώστε τα Λαγκάδια να εξελιχθούν σε σημείο αναφοράς για την εκπαίδευση στην παραδοσιακή δόμηση σε ευρωπαϊκό επίπεδο. Για μας τους Λαγκαδινούς, κάθε πέτρα που τοποθετείται σωστά είναι μια πράξη ευθύνης απέναντι στον επόμενο. Με το ίδιο αίσθημα ευθύνης, οφείλουμε να τοποθετήσουμε σήμερα τα θεμέλια της εκπαίδευσης που θα στηρίξει το αύριο του τόπου μας. Σας ευχαριστώ θερμά για την παρουσία και την συμβολή σας. Εύχομαι κάθε επιτυχία στις εργασίες του Συνεδρίου. Είμαι βέβαιος ότι τα αποτελέσματα θα αποτελέσουν ουσιαστική παρακαταθήκη για την διεθνή αναγνώριση και την διαχρονική συνέχιση της παραδοσιακής της τέχνης της πέτρας. Σας ευχαριστώ θερμά. Καλώς ήρθατε.
Now, the President of the Muslims will read two greetings from other greetings.
The first one is the responsible office for the civilization from the region of Peloponnese. Αγαπητοί διοργανωτές, το χαιρετισμό και τις ευχές του Περιφερειάρχη Πελοποννήσου κ. Δημήτριου Τοκού. Τα Λαγκάδια είναι ο τόπος σύμβολο της τέχνης της Πέτρας. Οι εκδηλώσεις των ΑΝΘΗ της Πέτρας αναδεικνύουν τη μοναδική πολιτιστική κληρονομιά των λαγκαδινών μαστόρων. Η παραδοσιακή αυτή τέχνη είναι υποψήφια να ενταχθεί στην UNESCO. Η περιφέρεια Πελοποννήσου προστατεύει και αναδεικνύει την πολιτιστική κληρονομιά, καθώς οι γιορτές της Πέτρας και το Διεθνές Σχολείο Άυλης Πολιτιστικής Κληρονομιάς. Είναι στρατηγική επιλογή, διότι ο πολιτισμός είναι αναπτυξιακός πυλώνας των τοπικών κοινωνιών. Είναι ευθύνη όλων μας η παρακαταθήκη στο ιστορικό της Πέτρας σε επόμενες γενιές, αλλά και η ανάπτυξη προγραμμάτων σπουδών και δημιουργία επαγγελματιών. Η περιφέρεια Πελοποννήσου έμπρακτα στηρίζει τις δράσεις που αναδεικνύουν την παράδοση εργασίας. Καλή επιτυχία στο 8ο Εργαστήριο της Τέχνης της Πέτρας, καθώς και στις γιορτές της Πέτρας 2026. Με εκτίμηση του Περιφερειάρχη της Πελοποννήσου, Αθηνά Κόρκα.
Now we continue to the second one.
Πρόκειται για ένα μήνυμα του βουλευτή κ. Παπαϊλιού, βουλευτή Αρκαδίας, προς το Σωματείο ΑΝΘΗ ΤΗΣ ΠΕΤΡΑΣ. Αγαπητοί φίλοι και συμπατριώτες, έλαβα την πρόσκληση για το Διεθνές Συνεδρίο με θέμα την τεχνική εκπαίδευση και επαγγελματική κατάρτιση στην τέχνη της Πέτρας και σας ευχαριστώ πολύ. Λυπάμαι που λόγω κοινοβουλευτικών υποχρεώσεων δεν θα μπορέσω να παραβρεθώ. Βάσει της παραδοσιακής τέχνης της Πέτρας, οι λαγκαδινοί μαστόροι κατασκεύασαν αριστουργήματα που άντεξαν στον χρόνο, για τα οποία η ιδιαίτερη πατρίδα μας η Ορτινία και βέβαια τα Λαγκάδια είναι περήφανα. Αυτή μπορεί να αναγνωριστεί, να αναδειχθεί και να αξιοποιηθεί μέσω της τεχνικής εκπαίδευσης και της επαγγελματικής κατάρτισης. Έτσι, μεταλαμβάνεται στις νεότερες γενιές, υπάρχει συνέχεια και αποκτά χαρακτηριστικά διάρκειας. Εξάλλου, μπορεί να αναγνωριστεί, να αναδειχθεί, να αξιοποιηθεί και ως άλλο πολιτιστικό στοιχείο. Το Διεθνές Συνέδριο μπορεί να συμβάλλει σημαντικά και προς τις δύο κατευθύνσεις. Ιδού πεδίων δόξης λαμπρών για την πολιτεία και όχι μόνο. Εύχομαι καλή επιτυχία στο Διεθνές Συνέδριο. Με φιλικούς και πατριωτικούς χαιρετισμούς, Γιώργος Παπαϊλίου.
So, our first speaker is
Good evening, everybody. Slight correction. I'm the focal point of the 2003 Convention for the Safeguarding of Intangible Cultural Heritage, UNESCO, so...
sorry.
No, it's fine. Distinguished guests, honorable representatives of local government, Mr. Mayor, esteemed professors, master craftspeople, educators, researchers, and trainees, dear friends, it is a great pleasure to be here in Laggadja and a great honor for me to take part in this event which celebrates the living heritage of the art of stone craftsmanship. Allow me to convey the greetings of our director, the Directorate of Modern Cultural Heritage of the Ministry of Culture, Ms. Lili Fotopoulou, and her best wishes for the successful proceedings of this international meeting. I would like to begin by thanking the Association of Blossoming Stones, ΑΝΘΗ ΤΗΣ ΠΕΤΡΑΣ, for their invitation, their generous hospitality, and above all for their unwavering commitment to safeguarding and promoting the traditional stonemasonry. Thank you very much. Their work reminds us that cultural heritage is not sustained by institutions alone. It survives because people care enough to keep it alive, to pass it on, and to create opportunities like this one, where knowledge can be shared across generations and disciplines. along on behalf of the ΕΛΕΝΗ Ministry of Culture, to express our sincere appreciation to all those who have contributed to the organization of this important international meeting, bringing together practitioners, educators, public authorities and experts from different countries demonstrates our shared conviction that traditional craftsmanship remains highly relevant in addressing contemporary challenges related to cultural heritage, education, sustainability, and regional development. As you may have felt it already, Laggadja is a place where stone is far more than a construction material. Here, stone is memory, knowledge, identity, and creativity. It bears witness to generations of skilled craftspeople whose expertise shaped not only villages and landscapes, but also social life, local economies, and cultural identities throughout Greece. What we admire is the visible expression of generations of accumulated knowledge. Every carefully selected stone, every dry stone wall, every arch, every corner, every structural solution reflects decisions that were never random. They embody experience acquired through observation, practice, and collaboration. Behind every building stands not only an individual craftsman, but an entire community of knowledge. This simple observation lies at the heart of the 2003 UNESCO Convention for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage. The Convention invites us to shift our perspective. Instead of looking only at monuments, objects, or historic buildings, it asks us to pay equal attention to the knowledge, skills, and social practices that made them possible. In other words, it encourages us to look beyond heritage as an object and to understand heritage as a living process. This distinction is particularly meaningful when we talk about traditional stone craftsmanship. In that sense, today we're not simply discussing the preservation of an old craft. We are discussing how living knowledge can continue to evolve, be transmitted to new generations, and become a source of innovation, employment, and community resilience. The greatest threat is not necessarily the loss of buildings, it is the loss of the people who know how to build them. This is precisely why traditional craftsmanship occupies such an important place within contemporary heritage policies. It represents far more than technical expertise. It encompasses ways of learning, forms of cooperation, specialized vocabulary, social organization, ethical values, and a profound understanding of local materials and landscapes. Traditional craftsmanship, therefore, teaches us something that is increasingly relevant today. Knowledge is never abstract. It is always rooted in people, place, and relationships. It develops through practice. It matures through experience. It is refined through dialogue between generations, and it remains alive only as long as there are communities willing to practice it. Perhaps this is why traditional stone craftsmanship speaks so powerfully to contemporary society. For many years, the Directorate of Modern Cultural Heritage of the ΕΛΕΝΗ Ministry of Culture, which is the competent body for the implementation in Greece of the 2003 Convention of UNESCO, has worked closely with the Blossoming Stones Association in joint activities and initiatives aimed at promoting and safeguarding the traditional stone craftsmanship. One of our most significant collaboration has been the parallel organization of our summer schools since 2018. Every summer, Laggadja and Dimitsana become vibrant centers of living heritage, where knowledge is transmitted through hands-on learning and shared experience. Every year, at the heart of the summer, the participants of the summer school about the cultural heritage of rural space organized by the ΕΛΕΝΗ Ministry of Culture meet the bearers of traditional stone craftsmanship here in Laggadja. It is particularly fitting that this year's summer school in Dimitsana is dedicated to traditional craftsmanship, which is the focus of the training program offered to our participants by UNESCO-certified facilitators. Earlier this morning, our participants had the opportunity to meet the trainees, which was a very good luck, the trainees of the Laggadja workshop, and experience firsthand what it means to belong to a heritage community, a community whose members share common values, communicate through a common cultural heritage, a common cultural language, and build a shared sense of collective identity. Ladies and gentlemen, at a time when speed often replaces patience, when standardization replaces local knowledge, and when digital technologies increasingly distance us from the material world, traditional craftsmanship reminds us that quality depends on time, attention, and responsibility. It also reminds us that sustainability did not begin with modern environmental policies. For centuries, master builders worked with local materials, adapted their techniques to the landscape, repaired rather than replaced, and created structures capable of lasting for generations. Long before sustainability became an international agenda, it was already embedded in everyday building practices. This does not mean that traditional craftsmanship belongs to the past. On the contrary, it offers valuable insights for addressing some of today's most pressing challenges: sustainable construction, climate adaptation, responsible use of natural resources, and the preservation of local identity in an increasingly globalized world. Lagavia provides an extraordinary example of this continuity. Stone builders did not merely erect buildings. They created settlements that harmonized with the landscape and public spaces that became centers of community life. Their work demonstrates that craftsmanship is never limited to technical expertise alone. It also embodies aesthetic values, social organization, collective memory, environmental knowledge, and cultural identity. For this reason, the Hellenic Ministry of Culture approaches traditional stone craftsmanship primarily as an element of living heritage. The value of traditional stone craftsmanship, therefore, lies, among others, also in the knowledge held by the craftspeople themselves, their ability to select materials, interpret the landscapes, collaborate with working teams, solve technical problems, and pass their expertise from master to apprentice. Safeguarding the heritage means ensuring that this knowledge continues to live within communities. It is precisely here that vocational education becomes essential. For many decades, traditional apprenticeship systems gradually weakened. Social and economic changes, new construction technologies, urbanization, and the aging of experienced craftspeople created a growing gap in the intergenerational transmission of traditional skills. As a result, valuable knowledge risked disappearing, not because it had lost its significance, but because opportunities for learning and practicing it became increasingly limited. Today, we have the responsibility to reverse this trend. The initiative of the Hellenic Ministry of Culture to establish the schools of stone craftsmanship in Lagavia and Pedalofos in the regional unit of Kozani in Western Macedonia represents a decisive step in this direction. Our vision is for these schools to become much more than educational institutions. Our vision is for these schools to represent a strategic investment in living heritage, to create permanent structure where traditional knowledge can be documented, taught, practiced, researched, and further developed through systematic education. Equally importantly, our aim is to reconnect local communities with the crafts that historically shape their cultural landscapes. Locating the schools within these historic centers of craftsmanship allows education to remain closely connected with authentic cultural environments, local knowledge holders, and living traditions. Our aim is to create learning environments where students will not only be taught techniques, but also experience the social values, ethics, and collaborative spirit that have always characterized traditional craftsmanship. An equally important dimension concerns the formal recognition of traditional craftsmanship within vocational education. For many years, traditional crafts have often been learned informally, despite requiring exceptional levels of expertise and responsibility. Today, however, it is increasingly important that this valuable knowledge be recognized within national education and vocational qualification systems. Certified graduates of specialized stone craftsmanship programs should be far more than qualified professionals. They should be custodians of traditional knowledge, bearers of cultural heritage, and ambassadors of a living craft. One of the greatest challenges of the Ministry of Culture faces is to establish a formal system for the professional certification of stonemasons, which will provide recognition of skills, enhance employment opportunities, support labor mobility, strengthen professional identity, and contribute to raising the social prestige of traditional crafts. We still face a number of technical and regulatory challenges arising from the current legislative framework before the schools of stone can become operational. Nevertheless, within the scope of its responsibilities, the Minister of Culture remains firmly committed to addressing these challenges and to making the vision a reality. At the same time, it will be a great opportunity to send an important message to younger generations. Traditional craftsmanship is not a profession of the past, it is a profession of the future. It offers opportunities for meaningful employment while contributing to the conservation of historic buildings, sustainable construction, cultural tourism, environmental management, and local development. It demonstrates that heritage protection and economic development can reinforce one another. The Ministry of Culture strongly believes that safeguarding intangible cultural heritage requires partnerships. No single institution can achieve this objective alone. Effective safeguarding depends on close cooperation between public authorities, educational institutions, local communities, professional associations, researchers, civil society organizations, and above all, the practitioners themselves. Within this framework, our collaboration with the Association Blossoming Stones has been particularly valuable. The association has made an outstanding contribution to documenting traditional knowledge, organizing educational activities, supporting practitioners, raising public awareness, and promoting intergenerational transmission of stone craftsmanship. Through our cooperation, we have demonstrated that safeguarding living heritage becomes far more effective when public institutions work together with community-based organizations whose members possess direct knowledge, experience, and commitment. This collaborative approach fully reflects the principles of the UNESCO Convention for the Safeguarding of Living Heritage, which places communities and practitioners at the center of safeguarding efforts. The summer stone workshops held here in Laggadia provide an excellent example of these principles in practice. Participants do not simply observe, they learn through experience. They work alongside experienced craftspeople. They understand the properties of local materials. They become familiar with traditional tools and techniques. They discover that craftsmanship develops through practice, dialogue, patience, cooperation, and continuous learning. Such initiatives contribute simultaneously to education, safeguarding, research, cultural exchange, and local development. They also demonstrate how intangible cultural heritage can actively contribute to achieving broader public policy objectives, including quality education, decent work, sustainable communities, lifelong learning, and the transmission of traditional ecological knowledge. Traditional stone craftsmanship, therefore, offers valuable lessons not only about our past, but also about our future. It reminds us that sustainable development is not always based on technological innovation alone. Sometimes it also depends on rediscovering knowledge that communities have developed over centuries. Ladies and gentlemen, the future of traditional stone craftsmanship will not be secured by preserving monuments alone. It will be secured by supporting the people who continue to practice the craft, by creating educational opportunities, by recognizing professional qualifications, by encouraging young people to engage with traditional skills, and by strengthening cooperation among all those committed to safeguarding this living heritage. The summer workshops and the partnership between the ELENΗ Ministry of Culture and the Association Blossoming Stones represent important milestones along this path. Together, they demonstrate that intangible cultural heritage is not simply something we inherit. It is something we actively choose to safeguard, to practice, to transmit, and to enrich. Let this international meeting become another step towards building stronger networks of cooperation, exchanging experiences across countries, and ensuring that traditional stone craftsmanship continues to inspire future generations. Thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you every success in your discussion in the Summer Stone Workshop.